Hi guys, it's KJM and it's hump day. I have another brand new Hallmark movie review for you guys. We're still in Falling into Love. I have been getting critiques that you guys want to see more of me when I do these reviews and less of the Hallmark actors and actresses. So I'm gonna find a way to kind of like blend in. Ooh, okay, I got half of Wes's face and then blend out. Okay, and there goes Erin Cahill. Okay. If you guys watch Monday's review where I did the 4 Falling into Love movies that had already premiered, and I literally said I was falling out of love with Hallmark and that Megan and I are super duper underwhelmed, okay, I'm about to eat my hair because Autumn at Apple Hill is by far the best Falling into Love movie we've had in 2024. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. It is still on my DVR. Okay, so check it. Last night I watched it, and normally you guys know I do not like to watch Hallmark movies late at night or when I could be like distracted. I usually try to watch it super early on a Sunday morning. No distractions, phone is on Do Not Disturb, but I really thought this movie was gonna suck, so that's not what I did this time, right? I was just like, when I'm absolutely bored, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna watch this movie. Well, I finished the most recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé the other way. The 90 Day franchise is my only reality TV like guilty pleasure. Whatever TLC got going on, if it's not too gross, your girl's gonna tune into it. Anyway, so y'all still wanna see more of me. Okay, hey, me with my friends. Hey Erin, hey Wes Brown. So I put this movie off because I literally thought it's gonna stink, even though I really love Erin Cahill. She's one of the few Hallmark actresses that when she cries so pretty. I feel everything. I mean, you guys remember she was in Christmas, I think Christmas at Cherry Hill. I forget what the name was last year, but you guys know where it had like a This Is Us feel. So basically, like, she is that girl. She's one of the Hallmark women that you always need to watch because she makes you feel things. She was in a military movie like 2 years ago on Miracles of Christmas. I still have that on my DVR, and I still freaking cry when her husband miraculously, comes back from war and he's okay, and then her daughter. Anyway, I don't want to get too emotional. So I love me some Erin. Not a huge fan of Wes Brown. I liked him in June and January, and that's about it. I don't get down with the franchise he is going on with Lacey. I don't know. I blocked it out. So much trauma. So I was thinking this movie is gonna stink. Wow. Not only did this movie not stink, it's still on my DVR. Megan hasn't seen it yet, but I texted her last night and told her, girl, don't walk, run, and go watch this movie. So as soon as Megan's schedule clears up, she's going to be on it. All right, so the premise of Autumn at Apple Hill is that Elise, played by Erin Cahill, she is the owner of an inn that she inherited from her grandparents. And she's trying to keep Inn at Apple Hill. Oh, the Christmas movie was Christmas at Cherry Lane. Baby, I know my Christmas movies. It's just the hills, the lanes, the seasons. We all up in here, but it's October and I'm going to get it together. So anywho, Elise owns this inn at Apple Hill and the inn has been falling apart. She needs a new loan so that she can build up the inn and keep the family tradition going. In the midst of all this happening, she had gotten proposed to at Inn at Apple Hill. Then we see she's getting divorced while she is the proud owner of Inn at Apple Hill. All these life changes are happening just within 10 minutes of the freaking movie. So already I'm like texting Megan and I'm like, yes, girl, you're gonna have to watch this because I'm already so invested and I'm like 10 or 20 minutes in. So as she's trying to fix up everything, enters Luke, played by Wes Brown. His family owns this big corporation that buys up hotels and properties. And so his mother tells him while they're in the middle of a major merger that he needs to take 2 weeks off because the staff won't take time off if their CFO doesn't. I completely agree. As a workaholic, if you see that your boss never takes time off, it makes you feel guilty about taking time off, but maybe that's me, and maybe that's just the Jamaican in me. I don't even know. So his mother like disconnects him from the company, tells him that he needs to go someplace. So he goes back to the small town that they ended up living in once his parents got divorced because of Inn at Apple Hill. Luke and his mom stayed there, fell in love with it, and then she decided that she wanted her son to have this kind of childhood, even though she was now divorced from his father. So we find out that this little small town has really impacted what's now a big city guy. He's back. He decides to stay at Apple Hill. And once Elise sees that, she thinks he's another one of these big corporations that's going to swoop in and try to steal her in and take away its charm. So immediately when he checks in, she gives him room 11, baby, which the plumbing ain't working. If water is dripping, the door don't lock. I mean, the whole thing looked unsafe, okay? And so she purposely books him into that room and tells him that all the other rooms are taken. So what does Luke do? He starts to complain a little bit, but then he said, okay, if the water is dripping, the door won't lock, all this stuff is happening, I'm about to fix this room, because one thing Elise is not going to do is ruin Inn at Apple Hill for me, because this is a place that has such great memories for me and my family. Okay, Luke, I'm proud of you for doing that. So now we watch for the first half of the movie Elise do everything she can to make Luke super duper uncomfortable because she thinks he's there to steal her in. Finally, she realizes he's the Luke that was a couple years ahead of her. He's friends with some of her friends. He was a couple of years ahead of her in high school. And she finally realizes he's not here to steal her in. So let me pause for a second. When I first saw how this storyline was playing out, I still thought big developer trying to steal small town business. I thought this is where we were going to go. Baby, this is not where we went. And I am so happy this script took a different turn. Once Elise realizes that Luke is just a small town guy that moved to the big city and became super, super rich, she felt bad about how she was treating him, and she brought him a pie. Okay, and she brought that pie and she said, babe, I'm sorry. I didn't know you was Luke from high school. I just thought you were trying to steal my property. And I'm sorry, come back to the inn. Come back to me. I'm begging you, please. Basically is what Elise was saying. So Luke goes back to the inn and he and Elise become fast friends. She explains, what's happening with the inn financially. He explains what the inn means to him and his family. And soon you see the two of them start to put together a plan that's reasonable to see if they can get a 15% increase in profits so that Elise can apply for a loan to keep Inn at Apple Hill open. So, of course, Luke wants to be her knight in shining armor. He wants to throw money at the problem. But Elise, being the independent woman that she is, she's like, Luke, I just want you, okay? I don't want your money. I just want you. And if I get used to you bailing me out, how am I ever going to stand on my own 2 feet? And I can appreciate that, Miss Elise, okay? So he really didn't know how he could help her, but he never stopped trying. He got the town to help with decorations. They decide, to light up the inn on the outside. They're going to throw this Halloween party, and it's going to be for the town. And it's a Halloween party that her grandparents had done since the beginning of them buying the inn. But within the last 15 years of them owning the inn, they just could not take on the Halloween party, for the town. So Luke is like, the town people want the Halloween party, let's have the Halloween party. I mean, there are so many little gems in this movie, and I can't believe it, but I'm going to have to do a part 2 review because I feel like I have not done it justice of really explaining why I gave this movie a 9 out of 10. Like, there was just so many little gems, but basically what this movie did is it took my cold, dead heart, and it made me want to fall in love again. And isn't that why we watch Hallmark? It's to fall in love. It's to have these unrealistic stories and fall in love over and over through these characters. Erin and Wes acted their asses off. Okay, I'm going to do a part 2. I can't believe I'm going to do a part 2, but since this is the best falling into love movie we've had this year, I'm going to shake a tail feather and I'm going to invest in doing a part 2. All right, it's KJM. Stay tuned.